Well, first things first, my name is Margaret Harris, and I go by the name Maggie around the farmers markets that I sell at. And yeah, some of the things that I enjoy doing, well, probably music, certainly, has played a big part in my life. I played the trombone when I was in school bands, and then later on I played it in swing bands over the years. I also took piano lessons when I was a youngster and developed a love of music, which led me to become an elementary school music teacher. In the schools, I started band programs, directed school musical theater productions, directed musical choirs, and taught music in the classrooms from kindergarten to grade 7. Dancing's also been an enjoyable activity for me. I'm currently teaching line dancing classes on Protection Island, where I live, in Nanaimo Harbor. And again, in my previous life, I took tap dancing and ballroom dancing lessons as well, and sometimes I just spontaneously start dancing around the house while I'm doing housework, when the music moves me. Sports, I've been involved in a lot of sports activities over the years. Played on school sports teams like basketball, volleyball. I love to swim, ski, play tennis, activities which I also taught to school students. Lately, I've taken up pickleball, which is a wonderful sport for seniors. It's a great way to make friends while being active and having lots of fun. And of course, sewing has been a passion of mine for many years. My mother and grandmother were both seamstresses, so I guess I have the sewing gene. When I retired from teaching, I had much more time to sew. At first, I sewed for my home, things like curtains, placemats, napkins, slipcovers. I also sewed clothes for myself, of course. But eventually I had enough placemats and napkins. All the windows had curtains, the furniture had slipcovers, and my closets were full. Then I discovered that I could keep sewing and sell my creations at local markets. I began sewing at local markets in 2009. My merchandise was mainly ladies' fashions, bags, hats, jackets, ponchos, vests, scarves, and masks. During COVID, I sewed a lot of masks. Well, at the start of COVID, it was difficult to find masks in the stores. They just weren't stocking them until a month or so after it started. And we were told by health authorities that wearing a mask would help prevent you from catching COVID. So I started sewing them and handing them out to Protection Islanders to help keep them safe. I began selling at the downtown Nanaimo market, which was set up on the plaza next to the Bastion on Fridays. The number of vendors varied between 30 or 40, and although this was not the busiest market, after all, it was on a Friday and many people were working, but it definitely had the loveliest view overlooking the harbor. I could even see my home on Protection Island from my vendor's tent. On Wednesdays, I sold at the Chemainus Market in downtown Chemainus. Bags and jackets mainly, And it was held close to where the tour buses brought tourists to the town to see the murals. It was a smaller market, about 20 vendors and mainly artisans selling their wares. I sold at this market for 5 years, but when I left, I started to sell at the Cedar Market on Sundays. Now, the Cedar Market was located in a field close to the Crow and Gate pub. It was a large market, about 60 plus vendors, and very busy. It started at 10 in the morning and went till 2 in the afternoon. This market was a true farmers market with many local farmers selling their produce freshly picked that morning. So it drew a lot of people there. It was a destination for many families, parents and kids alike, who would come to the market not only to shop, but to picnic on the grass while they listened to the musicians play. And many brought their dogs, or lots of dogs, at this market. It had a rural atmosphere, which was different from the Nanaimo and Chemainus markets, because they were taking place in town on concrete. Some mornings, the cow droppings had to be picked up at the Cedar Market and deposited elsewhere before the market got started. And then a bell would ring, and that indicated the market was beginning. For 5 years, I was a vendor at the downtown Duncan Market, which opened on Saturdays. Now, this was the largest and busiest of the markets I attended. It ran year-round, summer, fall, winter, spring. And in the summer, it had 100 plus vendors. In order to sell at this market, you had to make it, bake it, or grow it, which was actually the motto for a lot of the farmers markets everywhere, really. This popular market attracted people from Victoria as well as Up Island, and had a regular clientele who would come weekly to support the local market and the local people selling there. Setting up my tent and display were challenging some days. I usually only had about an hour, and I had a lot of stuff to hang up and display. So only 1 hour, I was rushing. The market opened to customers at 9 o'clock, and if I got delayed because I forgot to bring some of my setup, like clips or bungee cords, it was really challenging. I'd have to improvise. Then after 4 hours, I would have to pack up everything again. And because I was selling garments, I couldn't just throw them in a bin. I had to make sure everything was hung on hangers and hung up properly in my van. When I was selling in Duncan, I had a 45-minute drive back to Nanaimo, and then I would have to unload everything carefully back into the storage locker. It was tiring. The weather could be a problem. Dealing with rain and wind made for a challenging day at the market. I had to make sure my things didn't get wet or blow away. The rain would pool on the roof of my tent, which would then start leaking. I had to keep poking at the tent with a broomstick to shed the water off the roof and watch carefully that it didn't cascade down on unsuspecting passers-by. The wind had other challenges. My tent always had 25-pound weights secured to each corner, but keeping the merchandise from blowing away was not so easy. A lot of my garments were displayed on hangers and garment racks, and held with a lot of clothes pegs and bungee cords and some creative problem solving. solutions to deal with the wind. Setting up or taking down my tent in the wind was a critical point. I didn't have the weights on, so 3 times actually on different days, my tent blew away and was damaged beyond repair, and I had to buy another one. Washrooms were challenging too. If it was a long walk from my tent to the washroom, I had to plan well in advance of going, including asking my neighbors if they would mind my tent for me while I was gone. Usually I would then mind theirs too if they had the urge to go. The Cedar Market, the market was in a field and vendors had to use an outhouse, which was a very interesting experience. Often there'd be a lineup for the outhouse or the washrooms because there's only one facility for 50 or more people. Keeping stocked with my creations was the biggest challenge. That meant that every spare minute I was at my sewing machine. One of my large bags took 8 to 10 hours to cut out and sew. And if I sold 4 to market, that meant I needed about 40 hours in a week to sew 4 more. I was also busy doing volunteer activities on Protection Island, so there just didn't seem to be enough hours in a day or days in a week. Protection Island has a very active Lions Club on the island, helping islanders in many ways, like maintaining the community center on the island, which they call the Beacon House. And this is where I taught line dancing classes and held different fundraising events, which I like to organize to raise money for the Lions, helping them to continue to provide services to the islanders. So I'd organize coffee houses every few months. Protection Island has a lot of talented musicians. So this event would give islanders a chance to enjoy an evening of music provided by other islanders and to support the Lions. I also helped run a refreshment tent at the Easter egg hunt, put on every year by the Lions Club. I'm also a secretary for DIGS. DIGS is the community garden on Protection Island. I organize fundraising activities to raise money for the garden to help with its maintenance. Fundraising activities like the dessert auction, which is a big fundraiser. And this allows islanders to show off their baking skills. It's a silent auction format, and as there are a lot of really good cooks on the island, a lot of money is raised with this event. The Fall Fair in September is also a DIGS event, held not as a fundraiser, but as an opportunity for islanders to show off their skills as artists or knitters or potters or bakers, picklers, preservers, gardeners, of course, whose entries then are judged and ribbons are passed out to the first, second, and third place winners. And it's a lot of fun. We have different activities going on throughout the afternoon too. Things like, well, the Cock-a-Doodle Poo contest is really popular. This is a mini version of larger fall fairs have a cow involved in this activity. We have chickens involved where people bet on which square on the ground they're going to have a poo. And if you got the right square number, you won the pot. It's lots of fun. The day's capped off with a barn dance in the evening, which I help to organize, and it's also a lot of fun for all who attend. I also help with a community garden. It's a Little Diggers program. This is a program where kids can learn about gardening and have fun getting their hands dirty. Because I live in Protection Island and there is no vehicle ferry here, Islanders park their cars somewhere in Nanaimo. I park mine in the parkade close to the downtown marina where I tie up my boat. As I keep my craft supplies in a storage locker in town that doesn't open up until 8 in the morning, I have to load up the night before. When I was selling at Duncan, I would get up at 5:15 in the morning and head out the door shortly after 6. I would load up my wagon with any items I'd sewn that week and head to my boat. I could make good time to get to the Duncan market as the traffic was light at 7 in the morning. Once there, I had to find my spot assigned for the day, as I'm a drop-in vendor, not a vendor which has a regular spot. So I unload quickly because my vehicle would be blocking traffic. I then find a parking lot to park my car. Setting up again takes about an hour. I had a few minutes before the market opened at 9. I'd walk through the market, chatting with other vendors, and buy a croissant and coffee for my breakfast. The public was let into the market at 9, and the next 5 hours were punctuated with chatting with me, selling to customers, and then quiet moments where I could have a wee rest and check my emails. The market closed at 2, and everyone began taking down their tent and packing their vehicle. Most of the other vendors had gone by the time I finished my packing up. I had a lot of stuff. And so I would load up my van and then head back to Nanaimo, another 45 minutes, unload my merchandise and supplies into my storage locker, park my van in the parkade, hop in my boat, and head back across the harbor to my home on Protection Island. I was generally early to bed Saturday evenings after a long and tiring day. I really liked creating something beautiful or something useful out of fabric, something that people would actually pay me money for. I enjoyed seeing happy customers who really loved my products. Many of them would come back a week or so, even months later, and tell me how their friends and family admired my work. And I was happy to hear that. I also enjoyed hearing where my bags and ponchos and scarves traveled to, like Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and the Far East. Several customers took my bags on holidays, particularly cruise ships or land trips, as the bags were designed for holding things like their passports and water bottles and lunches, cell phones, tablets, things that they might need during day trips. And sometimes customers bought my things to give as gifts to friends and family near and far. But meeting new people and making new friends with both customers and vendors was really the most rewarding aspect of my market experience.